And I need to know if Debbie's okay.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully I'm not wrong about the whole her staying with Paul. I'm very invested in the relationship.
Yeah,
Especially since I clearly made it up.
You're now rocking with TDF Everything. Spoiled Rotten.
Spoiler alert.
Welcome and welcome back, everybody.
Hey.
It's me, Daniel,
And this is Ben.
on Spoiled Rotten. And today, we are spoiling the finale of Invincible Season 4. Chances are when you're hearing this, it is a long time since this has aired. But, you know what? We got to it when we got to it.
Yep.
So, there's a bunch of things that happened that made me like, oh, I guess this is good that I've laid off my whole in the comics this happens. But how did you feel as an ending to season 4?
Oh, one of the most unsettling endings of all time. It makes me so excited for season 5. I don't know if I said this on mic or off mic to you last episode about episode 6 and 7, the ones going up before this one. But I was very, very much looking forward to the talking that would be involved. Yes, you did say
that on mic.
Because episode 6 and 7 were already so heavy in terms of the fights, and Invincible typically does end on a giant fight for every single season and all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of glad that they broke the pattern here, because the ethical, moral turmoil that's being put in front of Mark is so interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Well, I feel like they kind of had their cake and ate it too with the whole hallucinations, even though that was, I think, effective storytelling.
I very much agree. That exploration into Mark's PTSD and him being like, later on in the episode, being like, I need some help here. Good stuff.
I liked where this ended. I didn't like one thing that we'll talk about, but as we've already established, it is more true to the comics. Sure. So I was just like, all right, well, I guess they took an extra step, but here we go. So yeah, this episode 8 starts with Mark imagining that the Viltrumites have come, or he imagines what it was like when the Viltrumites got to Earth and basically just started destroying everything and everyone, mostly everyone. But that kind of daydream is interrupted by Nolan telling Mark, "Hey man, you gotta sleep." You gotta. But we see that it is what I liked about the 2 episodes that preceded this, that it really showed the toll that going up against these Viltrumites has taken on Mark. I feel like they've done that effectively in other seasons, especially him worrying about Langstrom Levy. This obviously is different because they nearly killed him, and he thought he killed Conquest. This episode doesn't even let him get angry at Cecil about letting Conquest go, or because it's not important. It really is just about how fucked up he is about going up against the Viltrumites. Yeah. We also introduced the idea that Alan is stressed about taking over for Thetis, and I like that Talia's just there to make him feel better and to be like, Thetis wouldn't have picked you if he didn't believe you. I wouldn't even let you entertain this idea if I didn't believe in you. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's just nice to have that support. Yeah. I feel like that's always important moving forward. Yeah. But she also is there to help him when he's meeting with the other people from the Coalition. Like, I don't feel like they're not heads of the Coalition, but obviously they have some kind of say over things.
I want to say board of directors.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's clearly wrong, but it's...
I think that's the best way to look at them.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're trying to push Alan around. And tell you at some points, it's kind of like, no, don't. But it is clear that Alan's just like, I don't really want to have to deal with these people, because Alan, I think it's been made clear that while he's good with people, is there to execute, not necessarily strategize.
Correct.
So yeah, that's just a nice, interesting wrinkle to his stuff. Then we see Tech Jacket trying to talk to Mark and Nolan about, we could just stay on my space station, it's going to be tight, but it's off Earth. And she's going through a plan that I'm just like, it's a possibility, but it doesn't matter because Mark and Nolan are not listening to her at all. Even when she's like, or, who cares? Let's let them just destroy Earth. It's not that great of a planet anyway. And they're still not listening. And then an announcement happens, and then they're like, wait, what? And she's like, oh, now you listen? So that was some good stuff, too.
I really did like that moment in the meeting with the Coalition and Alan, where Alan pushes back and goes like, while I would love to discuss genocide with you and all that kind of stuff. Or is that later on this? But either way,
it's like, that's part of it. Yeah. That he doesn't have patience for them.
Yeah. Because the comment was brought up by one of the Coalition people to be like, hey, your mission was not a success because there's still Filtramites alive and all that kind of stuff.
Everyone gets dinged with that.
Yeah, it comes back a lot, and it's just one of those
basically everyone
things.
be like, you just kicked the hornet's nest.
Yeah, it's wild for sure, but I really liked the voice acting Seth Rogen does there.
Yeah, maybe it's because we pretty much at this point like grew up to a certain degree with him and know like what he can do. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, he only has one mode. I'm just saying it does come from being like, I know Seth Rogen as an actor. I obviously don't know him as a person or whatever. I can't claim to know that, but I do feel like I have a good read on what he does when he's acting or when he's trying to sound serious or whatever. And so I think that helps with the performance as well, of just knowing his style of shifting into, all right, I'm upset now. Yeah.
And it's really, really good. And like you said, it's because we grew up with so much of Rogen's stuff and are big, like for myself, I'm such a big fan of his stuff that distinctly when he enters that tonal shift, I'm like, oh, we got serious Rogen right now. And
it's
he
been
did
like
it
over
with
20 years at this point.
It's we know him as an actor and as like a person in the media, like not as a real person, but like in the media and all that kind of stuff. And it's that signature execution, but this time around I'm just like, oh, there was a depth deeper than that, and that's what I really, really appreciated from Rogen in his portrayal of Alan.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I said this the first time we talked about it. I did not imagine Seth Rogen as... It's hard because I saw him before I read the comments, but like reading the comments and knowing where it goes, I was like, oh, Seth Rogen's going to be doing this? And I feel like he's nailing it. Yeah. Then we get to the point where they actually get into Earth's orbit, and Nolan's trying to set up a plan. And it's a somewhat good plan. It's like, we're going to hide here and then kind of test things out. And he turns around. Because Mark's only question is, how long will it take us to get to Earth? And he's like, I don't know, like 10 minutes. And he's like, bye. I'm going to go do that now.
Not fast enough.
And he's basically rushing around to see if everyone's safe. And still meets up with Tech Jacket and Nolan, who's just like, so not going down slow and cautious? Okay, whatever. He's like, well, good, they're not here. And I like that Tech Jacket's like, I mean, yet. They're not here yet.
Yeah.
They're all wrong. They are there, but the show is still slow teasing it.
And it's so uneasy when he sees everything calm, because you're just like, to me, I'm like, because I know there's a difference between how the arrival happens in the comics versus what they did here, and I personally feel like what they did here was way, way better. But it's the idea.
It's better for a show.
It is.
I would agree.
Yeah, but it's just that uneasiness that carries throughout the whole episode.
'Cause
That's
I don't
got
think
me
you
like
could get
on the
away
edge.
with what they did in the show in the comic in
I
terms
don't
of
think
having
so too.
having it be like, no, that was just him hallucinating. No, that was just, I just don't think that would work. I would then start trying to skip over panels if I was like, oh, that's what we're doing.
I very much agree with you. It's a very different delivery, but it works so much better for TV with the teases that they did, as well as the fact that, hey, if they actually, because in the comics, like, Thrag's already there meeting them and all that kind of stuff, and then the discussion happens with Tech Jacket and Nolan around him and all that kind of stuff.
Nolan definitely.
Yeah.
It's why I was like, I don't know how they're not gonna have a big fight, because
Yeah.
I know it's safe for me to say now, but from the comics, I was like, I feel like they just already like meet them when they get there, and so as you said, this worked better for TV.
Yes, it's a slower tease, and like if it did happen the way a comics would, it's like, oh, we have that whole conversation in the middle of the episode, and the rest of it
Or
is
like at the
just
beginning,
a drag.
basically.
Yeah, the beginning. You're right. Yeah, but then the whole thing just drags out because you're like, yeah, where's the rest of what are we doing here? Like, it feels weird. So I'm glad that they made that change for TV.
Mark goes to see Debbie, and he's basically like, I'm safe, obviously. Oliver, maybe not so much. He's still off planet, off world. Don't worry, he's with the best people to help him get better. And while Debbie's getting upset, Mark, we see the first time or not the first time that Mark is imagining Viltrumites hurting people, but it's the first time a Viltrumite is hurting someone Mark cares about.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I didn't know they were gonna do this, so I was just like, killing Debbie. I don't know about that. I wasn't initially like, oh, I see what we're doing. I was just like, oh, there's so much more for Debbie.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're doing this, but it works. It is an episode that I thought did a good job of teaching you how to watch it. And so, yeah.
Yeah, because it forced you to pay attention to those subtle things that indicate whether or not it was I don't know if hallucination is the right word, or visualization, or whatever it might be. But
I just keep saying he imagines it. Like, it's yeah.
But
I think all those words work, though.
Yeah, it is just that it's forcing you to look for those little bits of evidence, and when it gets to the final scene, you're just like, oh, you really tricked us. You really hoodwinked us here. This is great.
So yeah, he kind of is like, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I saw you. You know I'm okay. And then he goes to see Adam Eve. Oh, sorry. Before he goes to see Adam Eve, he's kind of like, Dad's outside. But yeah, he goes to see Adam Eve, and Nolan. They have the conversation I would have liked them to end, where it was just like, she's like, I don't care. Realistically, you still put my kids in danger, and one of them is still being taken care of, isn't actually better. But Nolan has reached his breaking point of allowing people to still be mad at him. He's like, stop. And I'm like, oh, here we go. But then, what he said, again, I could never fault him on what he's actually saying.
Yes.
Which is, okay, you are someone that does believe in rehabilitation. So you can't just shut this down. He said, that's the part I agree with. When he says you can't act like you don't know me, I'm like, why not? Like, I don't even know if that's an act. I wouldn't think I knew you.
Yeah.
At that point. I agree with, I think he wins me over by saying, but you believe in rehabilitation, so you need to give me a chance to show you that I'm rehabilitated. But I was just like, but she doesn't. I don't think it's fair to say she knows you just because, well, other than the stuff I lied about and how I hurt you.
Yeah, and that's the part where I'm like, okay, Nolan, you got me with the whole you believe in rehabilitation thing, but now I can see that is the whole like me bit. I'm like, that's a little bit more emotionally manipulative.
To be fair, he says the you know me part first.
Yes,
so
he does.
It is he gets better over the conversation. As I said, he hits a breaking point and brings it back in.
And the way he just uses his super speed to block her off and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh, this is uncomfortable, because now this is got so much evidence of like an actual threat of power and all that kind of stuff. It is,
especially after the last time you saw her, she broke her wrist fighting you. So like, relax. I mean, I guess it's better than him grabbing her.
Absolutely, it is, but it's still very much.
It's bad. No,
it's
I'm
bad.
not saying it's good. I'm just saying, like, at least he didn't grab her. I don't think there would be any coming back from that.
No, there definitely wouldn't be at that point.
Yeah, so that's how that conversation goes, which we'll get to the scene, but it is like, oh, so now we've reset and we are on the path to what I was talking about before, where they get back together.
Right.
So they have course corrected. That's what I meant by they added an extra step. I've seen people say online that it shows that forgiveness is earned. The way they did it in the show, as opposed to in the book, where they pretty much just do this and then she agrees to, or she says, "Hey, take me to go see Oliver," and that's where they start having sex again and stuff. So I don't know if they're going to do that, but they are on that. And I also was like, well, you keep putting them back together. So and we haven't talked about the other reveal that comes in this episode. It's just more while they're having this conversation, I'm like, oh, they are going to put them back together. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Oh, you were already on that. I get, well, yeah,
I was on,
already know.
I'm like, well, no, it's more just like, why keep putting them back together? She already said her piece. Like, there's only so many times she can be like, no, I don't like you.
True.
And it'd be interesting. I was like, oh, they must be putting them back. And then the whole, I'm going to go see Oliver. I was like, oh, okay. So that's just exactly the right environment for that to happen again.
Yeah. That,
Yeah, that's the only thing I didn't really like. I understand where they're going with it, but I was happy when Debbie was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I agree. I very much agree with that. But like you said, it's course correcting with extra steps to get back to where the
comic
is.
Yeah. We see Tech Jacket reunite with her dad. I don't really have thoughts on that other than I was happy that they gave her that moment. Because it didn't feel like it was adding to anything, but it showed they respected Zoe as a character and her dad. Mark reunites with Adam Eve. I guess I can just call her Eve. That's what he calls her. And she's like, yeah, I've been staying here. This element, I think it plays differently when you're reading the comic, but the fact that they actually went to the trouble of changing her weight, I was like, oh, that's really cool. It is what I liked about the storyline, that obviously she has insecurity about it, but that's not an issue for Mark because he just misses her. But I, for whatever reason, thought that was cool that in the comics they did that, where it was like, oh, like your body is changing because of what you've been going through. And in this show, maybe it's in the comics too, but like in the show, it's more like, I have to eat a certain way. I'm not using my powers anymore, so this is what I look like now. And Mark's like, that doesn't matter to me. But yeah, she's basically like, I basically just hang out here. I don't use my powers. I got rid of, or I put Invincible Ink on hold. I was just not in a good place while you were gone. Mark interrupt. This is not where she does her reveal. This is where Mark's like, I'm not doing okay, and we see the Thrag kill, and I think it's one where it's this one or the next one. He was like, didn't you thought I was not gonna get the people you love? And that's when I was like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. We're gonna have to do this a couple more times, because why would Thrag know who he loves?
Sure.
And I was like, okay, all right, so this is what we're doing. But I wasn't bored by it. I understood they were trying to show the effect it's had on him. It's ever present. It's not just something that he's like, oh yeah, That's annoying that happens. It's interrupting. It's literally interrupting his life.
Yeah, and that's what I really like about this episode is that depiction of PTSD in Mark is just like a very accurate thing, in the sense where it'll just happen out of nowhere, and it'll just like completely hijack everything else that's going on, and there's no predictability for triggers. Well, not all of not in Mark's case and all that kind of stuff, but it's just such a good depiction of what PTSD is actually like, and all that kind of stuff. So I really appreciated that.
I like what Mark gets into here, even though he is sidelining Eve again. But it is, I think it is important for him to say, which is like, this isn't good, because Eve is just like, oh well, there's less of them now, so that's okay. And he's like, no, it's just a reminder that I'm going to have to go up against them again. I'm going to have to leave you again. I don't like it. This is not good at all. It's fucking me up. I'm not well. So yeah, I like that he said that out loud. Then they have the thing where like DA St. Clair is trying to open up a portal so they can get Monster Girl and Robot back, and I was like, I don't need this. I already know where they're going with the storyline. I don't need to see this. Yeah,
I needed to see it though. Like I know that in the comics they get stuck there for quite a long time. But I do also needed that to be covered within this season, to be like, oh yeah, there's a reason why we're like, they have been trying to get them. They just haven't been able to successfully do it and all that kind of stuff before the season ended. Otherwise, it would have been like, I would have looked at it like, that's a huge plot point that they left on whatever. But that's something that I really appreciated.
That's fair. I guess to me, it doesn't make sense because you don't see Monster Girl and Robot, so it doesn't feel like they've resolved anything.
It doesn't feel like they've resolved anything. It's just one of those things that, to me, it felt like, okay, the showrunners have not forgotten about this. They will address it some other time. However, right now, this is not the time. So this is just, don't worry, we got this kind of deal, which
I guess that's why I don't like it, because it's not serving the story they're telling.
Yeah.
It is literally just, oh, let's stop this so that you don't get mad at us for this. It's not good storytelling.
I agree, it is pandering to a degree. However, it does completely avoid that criticism of like, oh, they left these plot holes on like, whatever.
I feel like that once you start worrying about that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you are, because then you go back to the Hell episode and you're just like, oh. But I'm just like, I know that builds up to something more. Like, we can trust that.
Yes, so, it will become something else. Mark and Eve are basically catching up with their friends. I don't remember the names, but what I liked about that is there's, I guess, Rick is the one name I remember. It's the guy that got turned into the robot thing that D.A. St. Clair was making. And while they're walking and talking, and Mark has another, I guess, episode, they're like, everyone's like, oh, Mark, we'll sit down. And Rick's like, no, I get it. And he's like, why? Why? He's like, I've seen that before. And he's like, where? And the other friend is like, I think maybe it's Will. I don't remember. And he's just like, oh, in the mirror. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, you get it. You get what's going on here.
Yeah.
That was something. I'm glad they brought that out to show that Mark won't be alone in this. They had different experiences, but same results.
Same symptomology and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's it was a nice moment to me, because it's just like one of those things where I started to go like, hey, what friends can Mark realistically have, at this point? And it's just that moment where it's like, oh, there's another person that sees him as a human and all that. I'm like, oh, this is what he's actually still getting from this. He hasn't outgrown them from a superhero world kind of thing. Their friend group is very important. It grounds him very
he's got his best friend and his girlfriend, who also is a superhero, who understands him, and then this other person who otherwise would have probably been considered a civilian, who's like, no, I went through shit too. I came back from death just like you.
Yep.
So yeah, I appreciated that. then we come to Debbie and Paul. Basically, Paul's a great guy. He's just like, oh, so Oliver's on a different planet. Why don't you just go see him?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, Paul.
Yeah, support her.
And she's like, no, it's on another planet. He's like, that shouldn't stop you. And they confirm, yeah, like we are no longer together.
Yeah, that sucks.
And I was like, no, you guys, I really like. I mean, if it wasn't working for Debbie, I'm glad she's done with it. But I liked them as a couple.
I very much like them as a couple, and I like them even more that they had a healthy breakup and that they're still
they're friends,
caring about each other, still supportive of each other, and all that kind of stuff. To me, I'm like, that's fantastic. This Paul guy is even better now. I love him so much more. So it's just like, and Debbie, obviously, I love them both, but it just sucks that, oh man, I was rooting for them as a couple.
Yeah, even more like we're clearing the way for one thing I thought was interesting is in the first scenes where the Viltrumites are on Earth destroying things, there's a bus. Now I gotta get this right. I think the bus name is Cliff Curtis, who is the name of the actor who plays Paul.
Okay.
I was like, why did they do that? And then they dropped this bomb on me. I'm like, well, I guess the actor got his name on it.
Sure.
It really made me upset. Yeah, Cliff Curtis is his name.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, no. I guess I'd already figured they were going to the whole Debbie will get back with Nolan. At least in this way, I'm like, at least she's not cheating on Paul. She's just not in that relationship anymore.
Yeah, I would have hated that. I would have hated that if she cheated on Paul. I'd be like, no, Paul. He was so supportive. He got you there.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the big bummer for me that they confirmed they were no longer together. Especially as someone who made up that they stay together. It is meant. So yeah, I guess Eve wasn't imaginary killed on the roof. This is where she's killed when they're in bed, and she starts to try and tell Mark about what's going on with her. And yeah, after that, she finally is just like, fuck. I really liked the Gillian Jacobs performance here. I was like, fuck. I gotta get this out. Especially since I was like, yeah, you gotta tell him. And yeah, surprise, she had an abortion. No kid.
Yep.
Which I think a lot of people liked from the comics as well. Of like, whoa, they're putting this. For me, I was just like, oh, they changed her body. That was like, whoa.
No, but that's an important thing, though, because
I'm not saying it's not important. I just was like, oh, I can see where people's attention was.
Sure.
But yeah, it is a big deal that she has a judgment-free abortion.
Absolutely.
It doesn't turn into what? How could you? It's just Mark flat out being like, I'm sorry, I put you in that position.
Yeah. Mark is, I think we've said this multiple times, not the most attentive boyfriend, but he reacts with so much emotional stability and openness and vulnerability and all that kind of stuff that I'm just like, yeah, he's got that going for him, which is nice.
Yeah, I don't think he's a bad person.
No, he's not a bad person.
No, he's just not a nice or attentive boyfriend.
He's just not as present as he can be because of his position in the world and all that kind of stuff.
But yeah, she's basically like, I found out before you were left. Obviously, I didn't tell you because I wanted you to focus on coming home and not thinking, oh, I'm going to be a dad. But yeah, you were gone. Well, I think she says it later, but it's confirmed he was gone for 10 months. And so it was just like, well, I had no idea what was going to happen. I just couldn't deal. I felt very alone. And yeah, I just like that it was a judgment-free abortion.
Oh, absolutely. Even the way Jillian delivers the line is just like that. There's no guilt or shame in that whatsoever. It's just a matter of fact thing. It's like, yeah, I got an abortion. This is why. and you need to know about it. I'm just like, yeah, great voice acting done in this episode, just across the board. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. Then we have a scene that I really liked,
Mm-hmm.
which is Nolan is back at the scene of the crime where he beat Mark's face in.
Yeah.
And Cecil shows up.
Mm-hmm.
They have a nice back and forth, but it's basically Cecil being like, so obviously you won, right? Nolan being like, yes, we did. The first time I watched it, I didn't even hear that he said yes.
Mm-hmm.
The second time when I watched it, I was like, you said yes, you won? What an idiot. He's like, yes, we won, except for the fact that they're still alive. They are probably coming to Earth, and we just pissed them off, really. It's just, there's no real victory to be had, but yes, we won.
Yeah, we killed like 8 of them.
And Cecil rightfully's like, what do you, that's not winning, you didn't win.
Yes,
I think he's the one that's you kick, like a version of you kick the hornet's nest.
Yeah.
And he's just like, there's an element too of him being afraid to get close to Nolan. He's like, that's close enough.
Yeah,
And Nolan's like, like, come on, you don't have to be afraid of me. He's like, there's never gonna be a time where I'm not afraid of you, just so you know.
Yeah.
And he's pretty much like, get the fuck off my planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, Cecil.
Yeah, that's the only time I've liked Cecil.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want him to actually leave. And I'm not saying Cecil doesn't want him to leave, but as an audience, you're like, you're gonna need him. You should keep him here.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though he is gonna leave the next day. But yeah, he's like, no, you don't want him to go.
Yeah.
You don't want him to go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's pretty much, I like that Nolan is basically saying, I think I have the number here written down, but he's like, yeah, I almost died out there. I put my life on the line. And Cecil's just like, yeah, great. Nearly died 2,341 more times, then we can talk.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we've been saying this whole time, which is, it is nice to hear Nolan give what feel like real apologies in these episodes, while people are still thinking like, that doesn't really make up for it. You need to keep this, you need to keep that energy over
Just
a period of
small-
time, so I can believe that you actually, I mean, Cecil's saying what you're saying, which was like, okay, one time, I don't care.
Yeah,
Keep
small
doing that,
drop
then.
in the bucket. Keep it going until you fill that bucket, kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
And it's valid. It's very, very valid. You got a whole Earth that worshipped Nolan and loved him, and then he did that.
And I'm sure Cecil feels like this is one of the only people that got one over on me.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, there's that ego involved for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad for Cecil, but it is, I'm sure there is the realization of like, oh yeah, this guy could kill me at any time, but also, and you tricked me. Like, usually I'm the one that's like, can see all the angles, but I didn't see that.
Yeah, you made me look stupid in front of all my friends. Like, what?
Or I thought we were friends. I thought you would have told me what the deal is so we could work together.
Right.
So yeah, I'm glad that that's where they leave that with Nolan and Cecil. But I really enjoyed that back and forth.
Yeah, the back and forth there was really good. It was charged, and it had the right energy of Nolan being super apologetic, and then Cecil being like, I don't care, man.
Yeah. You
don't
really
care.
fucked up.
Yeah.
I think they keep there's this play on, because Cecil knows that's where he beat up Mark as well, of like, are you apologizing for this or what you did to Earth?
Yeah.
Like they both have elements of saying a version of that, which I thought was just really good writing.
Yeah.
And obviously I've just butchered, but I really appreciated that back and forth as well.
Yeah. It was good. It was powerful stuff.
Big fan of that scene. Then we get the scene where Debbie is basically like, okay, you're leaving Nolan and you're going to take me with you. And just another blow to my vision of Debbie and Paul. I was just like, yeah, there we go.
Having that
I know the
house
panels.
together.
I know the panels. I know where you'll be. Okay.
forgetting Paul. I mean,
I don't really.
We don't know how long they've been broken up. It could have been. It's not like it was yesterday.
No,
but it was.
I think it would be enough time for them to get. My assumption, unless it was in the episode and I just wasn't paying attention. My assumption is like moving in together was not the right move.
Well, I don't think they ever executed that.
Well, I don't know, it was 10 months.
Yeah, but according to Paul's plan, they had to sell both their places to get this new place mortgage free.
And she's still at home.
She still has her home, so they, to me, obviously didn't sell.
She didn't sell it and get it back. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure that was part of the tension of not really actually being able to merge their lives together.
I think so. Yeah. He's too much of a normie for her. And I think
I would assume that's the case,
because that's what he says even in that scene that they have together. It's like, hey, we both know that when we were together you were on a different level than me and all that kind of stuff, and that was his way of convincing her to get to space, like not to try to manipulate her and all that kind of stuff, but there's still a lot of truth in that. I'm like, yeah, she was married to Omni-Man, has Invincible as a son and all this kind of stuff. It's like, she's outpacing you like crazy. Like,
having a son be on a different planet should not be something that she's like, well, I guess I'll just never see him.
Yeah.
Paul sees her for who she is and supports it.
Yeah. That's true love, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. What if I would hate if, like, later on he's like, and now I'm a villain. I'm like, oh, fuck. Come on,
I would
Paul.
hate that. I would hate that so much if he turned into a villain.
Yeah, I'm hoping
it would be a good arc, though. It genuinely be like, oh, it would get me emotional and like invested. Yeah. But I just #save Paul. Like,
just don't let him die.
Just don't let him turn. Just leave him on this good note. Never animate him ever again. That's it.
Unless she comes back to him.
Yeah, that would be good. But I'm just like, at this point, it's just like what we would get from seeing him again is either he is killed on screen or
this would protect him. He's done.
Yes. This way, it's just like, don't ever animate him again. Don't put him in again, and it preserves that clean image and reputation in our minds, which is great. We need that.
Yeah.
We need strong male role models out there doing the right thing.
So yeah, after Nolan and Debbie leave, Mark is with Cecil, and another strong scene, obviously, but it's initially him just being like, yeah, okay, well, I'll cooperate, obviously, because at this point Cecil's like, you guys fucked up, like, what's wrong? And he's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll cooperate, I'll talk to who you need me to talk to.
Yeah.
And I think Cecil's like ramping up on his frustration, and then another kill, hallucination, or whatever we're calling it, another episode, which I think we get to see a character react to. No, that's not true, because he did it with his friend. The friends reacted to Mark's thing, so this is just another character who reacts to it, because I feel like they don't cut away, but they kind of cut with Debbie and Eve. This one is it's enough for Cecil, like, whoa, what's going on? And Mark just being, you said that you had people for me to talk to, like, for help. I really need that. I appreciate that.
It's two characters that know how to act and have seen this before, right? Debbie and Eve don't know how to react properly to it, other than just hearing them out and all that kind of stuff, which is why I appreciated the fact that, again, this is a turning the tides on Cecil a little bit for me, is the idea of, like, he stops pressing with the debrief and just instantaneously recognizes, it's like, oh, if I push this any further, this is not going to be good. I need to actually show up for him right now. And
yeah, I think he cares about Mark.
Later. He does. So he absolutely does.
I looked at it as he forgot that there was an interrogation happening, and he was just attending to someone he cares about.
Yes. Yeah, he was like, all right, we'll do the debrief some other time. we gotta lay off you right now, at least get you some rest or whatever it is you need, and some people to talk to, which is great.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was just the kind of the capper on what I hope. I haven't seen anyone say it, so I don't want to create a straw man, but just that it doesn't matter that he doesn't die when he gets beat within an inch of his life or gets his intestines pulled out. It takes a toll on him.
Yes.
It isn't something that he can just laugh off or forget over time.
You can't bounce back from something like that, especially if you've named yourself Invincible on the premise of that you can't get killed from everything that you've experienced on Earth. And then there's like, I think the number's 37 people plus Thrag that, way, way, way more powerful and have the option of doing that to him at any point in time.
To him and everyone else. Like he sees his limitation now. Yeah. Of like, oh, it's not about if I die, it's about I can't protect these people that I want to protect. That these people being Earthlings. I know there's the group of people he knows and loves, but also in general he wants to protect the planet. And
he can't protect.
He knows he can't protect them from the Viltrumite. So yeah, I really, as I said, I don't want to create a straw man. Like, so there you go, people, because I haven't actually seen people say that, but it's always in the back of my mind of, are people gonna say like plot armor or whatever? And I'm like, it's not, because this show, we keep saying I don't think it's interested in the power fantasy. Yeah, it is about like, this is what it would take, even if you were invincible. This is what it would take from you and take for you to keep going.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think The Boys and Invincible does very, very well, which is show us the downside of what has only been glorified in our minds for such a long time. From the TV and movie standpoint, I know in the comics they explore the darker stuff of superheroes and all that kind of stuff way, way, way more.
But I feel like it gets lost on people.
It does get lost on people, and this is, I think, The Boys and this, too, it pushes it right to your face, and like this episode in particular is like, no, he's not well. And it doesn't matter if he's physically actually indestructible, his mind is a big part of his health, and managing that is really, really tough.
Definitely. Wow,
and I will say, you are not fine after escaping death. Like, when I escaped COVID and I thought I was literally going to die, I'm like, no, that changed me fundamentally as a human being. And I had so many issues dealing with that for the next like year of my life that I'm like, no, I appreciate the fact that they're actually showing something like that through this medium.
Yeah, I hear you on that, and I agree that it's great to have this in here, but obviously you can relate as well, not in a super villain deboweled you, but
but in just a recognizing
stuff from you that is not quite tangible even.
It's the recognition of your own mortality.
Yeah.
In a way that makes you feel truly powerless. And it's, for Mark, it's projected on his loved ones, his Earth, his home.
Well, I mean, I guess that's where the difference is, because you're not trying to be a superhero.
No, absolutely not.
So, like, yes, he's dealing with potential mortality.
Yes.
The way you did, but he's also dealing with, and I can't even do the thing I thought I was going to be able to do.
Yep.
Which I feel like you must have had versions of that, too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Couldn't run, couldn't do anything anymore, couldn't drink. It was wild. But it's just like, there's a lot that I'm getting from Mark in this episode. It's clearly I'm talking up a
lot. This is where we see Eve be like, oh, you should just go for flight. I think earlier on she was, so not in the scene, but earlier on in the episode, she was talking about, oh, like, you came back and I started flying again. That was good. And so in this scene, she's like, you should go for a flight. And he's just like, I don't want to. She's like, yeah, this is why you should do it. This is because you're not going on a mission, because there's no need to do it, is why you should be doing it, to just clear your head and do something else. And this is where he's doing it. There's some nice music playing. And then he sees Thrag, and yes, that's what I meant by, we've both been saying it, that the episode taught you how to watch it, because you're like, oh, yeah, this he can't even have a flight without thinking about this. But the way he blinks, the way the camera works, you're like, oh, no, I think he's really there. Obviously, at one point, Thrag goes, yes, we are here. But before that, you're like, oh, shit, I think they're really here.
Yeah, because it's this really big challenge, because the thing I was looking for was there was like this camera shake element that they added in with each one of those things, and there was a little bit of a shake at some point in time. So that really threw me for a trip. I'm like, is he actually there? Is he not? And all that kind of stuff. And when Thrag actually goes like, yes, I'm actually here, I'm just like, oh shit, this is crazy now.
Yeah. So basically, this was a scene I really liked in the comics as well. As you said, it's different because Nolan's there. So this time it's just Mark that has to deal with this. But Thrag's like, oh, we have been here, by the way.
Yeah,
we're laying low. And our deal for you is, don't bother us. We are not good. It's not the same thing, but they're kind of like an Eternals thing of like, we're not going to interfere. We're not going to do anything. We won't help. We won't hurt. We are just going to be living our lives, fucking you humans, and trying to repopulate. Do not interfere, or we will do that. And you see all the different, not all, you see different Viltrumites who have integrated. I think people agree Krieg seems to have been the most direct by just being with a woman and being like, yeah, this is what we're here for.
But he also gets the point of it. It's just
that's what I meant. That he's being the most direct of like, yeah, I'm here to do this. So
yeah, he's gonna do fuckboy things. It's great.
Yeah.
Lucan's getting a job. You're just like, Lucan, did you read the memo? Like, we're here to repopulate, not to trade.
Well, they have to reintegrate, right? So that's what Nolan did, right? He got there, and yes, he was a superhero, but he was also a famous writer. So like he did have a job and a reason to be there.
He had a cover story. You're absolutely right. But and this is the crazy thing that my mind went to. All right, I'm just like, if you're looking to repopulate Earth.
No, they want to recreate
Viltrum. Yeah, repopulate the Viltrumite population, all that kind of stuff. Bring their numbers up and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, man, some of these Viltrumites are taking a very long, slow approach versus like the guy, I forget his name, but the eye patch, I'm just like, this guy gets it. Yeah. Krieg. I'm like, Krieg gets it. I mean, gets exactly what
they couldn't have been there longer than 2 weeks because Mark was only out for 2 weeks.
Sure.
So I don't know how long of an approach you think they're doing. Like, Lucan could be having sex and going to work.
That's true.
It just looks like Krieg is embracing it the most in terms of having fun.
Yeah, he's picked like
Anessa looks upset. She's like upset that people are catcalling her. She's not having a good time.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting, given what happens with her in the comics.
Sure.
But there's no doubt about it. Krieg is like, yep, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I saw this weird debate online. When I say online, I mean threads. It's the only social media I actually stick to. Where like people were like, imagine when he hears the N-word for the first time for Lucan, and people were like, why would he care? I'm like, it's not that he would be like, oh my god, they called me nigger, now I feel, but it would be that he's not an idiot, and he would know they're disrespecting me and I can't do anything about this because I'm not allowed to show my power, and I'm not allowed to actually make any impact although having sex with people and having kids is making an impact, but that is the only impact he's allowed to make. Yeah. So it's just like, I don't see how people don't understand that it would be upsetting, it would be galling for someone who the show is kind of just embraced, was seen as a Nazi, so he would feel like, hey, I'm up here, these are bugs to me. being like, then now I have to just let these bugs disrespect me in a way that Krieg won't get disrespected. I mean, Anissa's gonna get disrespected like him, but like,
oh yeah,
it's just it was just a weird thing where I'm like, it's very obvious that it would be upsetting to him.
Yes,
Not because he understands the racial politics of it, but he would just be like, I know you're making fun of me. I know you are making me feel less than, or you want to make me feel less than.
Yeah. It's wild.
But anyway, this is another storyline where I'm like, I really hope it goes the way of the comic. I don't feel there's a need to change how that goes. Maybe some details here and there, but I feel like the overall thing is a great outcome storytelling wise for what happens with this. So yeah, I hope they get to making kids.
You're talking about the Anissa thing? Or
no,
all of the
I'm
Viltrumites,
fine if they don't do that. I still thought it was very interesting, but I'm talking about the fact that they're on Earth and aren't allowed to do anything.
Right.
Yet.
Yes.
I really liked the outcomes of that storyline.
Gotcha. Well, I'm looking forward to it because I had a very, very interpretation of what I thought was going to happen.
I guess we should say Mark is like fine after struggling with being like, I don't want that to happen for obvious right reasons, and then being like, what am I gonna do? Like, Thrag's like, hey, you don't really have a choice, and yet you still have to make a choice here. So go ahead.
It's an impossible decision.
But yeah, what were you gonna say? I just wanted to make sure that was clear before you said your thing.
Yeah, no, I actually thought that the Viltrumites were just going to kidnap a whole bunch of women and non-consensually non-consensually reproduce with them in a baby farm scenario or something like that.
Yeah.
That's literally what I thought was going to happen.
This is still without proper consent, but yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Because they're not who they are pretending to be.
Correct. You're absolutely right about that. But I thought it was gonna go further and be like, oh, we're just gonna start raping people and all that kind of stuff. And
well, a more violent rape, I think, is what you're saying, because this is still technically rape.
You're absolutely right about that. But yes, using the violence, because well, if they did, it's just like that's very, very consistent within what they've done so far to so many different things. So it's just like,
it's why I like the storyline.
Yeah,
that for a time being they have to adhere to Earth rules.
Yeah, they have to actually nerf themselves and be different, because the whole act of Thrag negotiating with Mark is pretty wild, in the sense where no Viltrumite has ever negotiated terms before.
Is it a negotiation? He's like, I'm going to kill you unless you let me do what I want to do. Either way, he gets what he wants out of this.
But based on what Thrag says and what Viltrumites would, it's like, yeah, we would have just straight up killed you and done all this kind of stuff. And the fact that he's even like, here are my terms, and I'm just like, oh, you're actually, even though you're forcing him into a corner, but like you're still doing the nature of this. I'm like, this is wild.
I mean, in my head, he's speaking with another Viltrumite, and like, I feel like he's talking to another Viltrumite. Like, he's not talking to just a human. It would be different if this was like Alan he was talking to,
right? But
in his head, he's aware of the numbers, and he's also aware that like, our plan is to have half human, half Viltrumite anyway. So, it felt more like a get down or lay down situation. We did not feel like any type of negotiating was going on.
Right. That's fair.
This was more like, we're adding. They did their. We talked about it in episode 6 and 7 how dumb they were to like thin their ranks. He's now like, yeah, we are in building the ranks mode, not cutting it down mode.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe he does have a soft spot and is softening. But to me, I was just like, he was right to say, you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
So tell me what you want to do. So I'm down for either one of these, while still maybe your point is that he still is being like, don't make me kill you.
Yeah.
But I only see that as him understanding he still needs the ranks. Like, he needs to expand, not thing right now.
Yeah, there's a very, very big reality that's hit him in terms of numbers and what he's actually supposed to be doing as a leader.
Less than 40 of them now, so he's just like, maybe I kill him later.
Yeah.
Also, just maybe you're right. Maybe there is a negotiation because he's like, I don't blow up our spot because this is easier for us if we can just have the sex now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to more of that.
And we have a post-credit scene.
Yeah. Theda's message for Alan is basically like, "No, kill them all. Do the thing. Do the scourge virus, please.
Yeah.
Kill them all."
And a bit of information that's very, very important, that it in Thaddeus' messages is that they're not sure whether or not it would affect humans. So if they release the virus, it could potentially just wipe out all of Earth as well as all the.
This is what I meant by kill them all.
Stuff. Yeah, and it's wild that he goes there, and I'm just like, of course you recorded that. You're already, of course you say that in your death. It doesn't affect you anymore.
I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. I just feel like we already talked about how he's not really looking to save people so much as kill Viltrumites.
He's very much.
He's like, I hate these people.
Yeah.
If it means other people die, so be it. Just as long as there's no more Viltrumites.
Yeah. Just wild. Because even like the council in the beginning of the episode was like, oh, he was Viltrumite in name only, and then for them to say that, to be like, oh, so Mark and Oliver, who fought on your side, they're not Viltrumite in name only either. Got it. That's
because they were like, no, kill them too, by the way.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They're like, kill them too.
We don't want any of those.
Freaking wild.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll get very. I shouldn't say that with any type of certainty. In the comics, it gets very interesting between Alan and Mark moving forward.
Sure.
Now that Alan has actual power over him, if he stays in the coalition. So yeah, I'm not technically looking forward to that because it was always stressful in the comics, but it is a thing that comes up many times of Alan being like, no, you got to do this now because I run the coalition and you're a part of it, so do this.
Yeah, pulls rank and all that.
Yeah, it is not the exact same thing, but in the comics it does feel a bit more like he has a new Cecil, only it's his friend Alan.
Oh yeah.
It's more interesting because you like Alan and know that he doesn't want to be a dick.
Yeah, that does make it way more interesting, I will say.
But I know I didn't make that up, but it also might not happen in the show.
Right.
Or maybe it doesn't even come up in this season, in the next season. I think
because it was renewed for 5.
Yes, but
all the way back.
I think they want to do like 8 seasons, which makes sense because this is pretty much the halfway mark of maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but it is. Season 4 deals with pretty much the halfway mark of the comic run.
Right.
So they have time to do stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they get 8. The only thing that seems to be holding it back is the speed of the animation right now and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
I think people would disagree with you. Say that. I think people think this is really poorly animated.
I hear people say that a lot, and I'm just like, listen, man, if you want this to come out on time, you gotta really recognize some of the limitations and all that kind of stuff.
It's not something that I'm actively noticing while watching the show, though. Like, when people isolate it and they're like, look at how bad this looks, I'm like, oh, sure. But while I'm watching, I guess it's because I just care about the characters.
Yeah.
That I'm not like, oh, look what they did there with the animation. And yes, if you place it next to some of the comic panels, it looks not as intricate. But I'm sure people have, at this point, seen all the different people that say, like, that's because they don't have to animate those panels.
Yeah.
It's a different medium.
It's a different medium altogether. It's just and plus, like, if season 1 was like this, it's staying consistent.
Well,
it's
they
not
joked about
worse.
it too in seasons after season 1. Like, they would do that thing where, like, he didn't move his mouth or whatever. Like, yeah, it is part of the humor of the show.
Yeah, I get it.
They're making it work for them, I think. Anyway.
Yeah. The people that are online complaining, I was like, oh, this is. I'm like, listen, man, you can't have everything. You can't have everything. Give them a freaking break. Like,
because I think this, ever since season 2, they've done it every year as opposed to, like, the weird breaks they had it in. So, yeah, that's what it's gonna take.
Well, that's my point. Is just like, hey, Amazon wants this to be a yearly thing. It looks like, so you kind of have to accept some of these flaws, so to speak. But then, like you, I care more about the characters, the world they're building, the stories they're telling, as opposed to the animation. Because I'm just like, it's not that I don't care about the animation. However, I don't find an issue with the animation the same way other people do.
Yeah. I feel like we might have similar experiences of not really recognizing the flaws in the moment.
Yeah. It doesn't look bad to me. And then, like, when people are, like, doing stills and screens, I'm like, whenever you do a still of a moving frame, it doesn't look good. Like, what's your point? It's silly, and it's just like, I think it's just feeding into the whole rage bait online culture thing and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, shut up. Just shut up.
We would be way more popular if we did more rage bait stuff.
Yep. Not willing to sacrifice integrity for that.
No, I'd rather do this.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's it. That is season 4. I'm a bit sad that we don't have any more episodes until hopefully next year, but it could be longer. I don't know if they feel the pressure of people shitting on their animation.
Oh, God, I hope not, because then it just gets to this point where it's going to be like, oh, okay, so season 5 onwards, the animation's drastically different. Like, that's stupid to me. Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is.
Okay, well, I think we should rate the season as a whole.
Yeah,
I realize I wasn't prepared to do this, actually.
I'll go first.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I've got this at a 9.
I also have it at 9.
Okay, beautiful.
We did it. We're on the same page here. I really like the show, and maybe I'm suffering from, I can't wait for them to get to this, but I do think that they nailed what they needed to nail in this season, even though there was a couple of iffy spots, and I'm not even talking about the Damien Darkblood or whatever his name is. I don't care.
Yeah.
The devil one. It really was that 6-7 combo where I was like, well. Other than that, this was a good time. Yeah,
it was fantastic. It got me wanting so much more, and the storytelling, how it had me so invested in these seemingly side characters like Paul and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, they did and the voice acting just remains so stellar.
Yep.
With this series, so I'm just like constantly blown away, and I'm like, I don't care about the animation nearly as much as other people do. It's the storytelling that's the greatest strength in this.
Right there with you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for listening, everybody. You can find us at tdferything.com/spoiledrotten or on certain social media sites at tdfspoiled on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, Lemonade. You can also email us, spoiledpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, please rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends on your podcast platform of choice. We will be back. Bye-bye.
Cheers!
This has been a TDF Everything production, brah.